All right, everyone, I'm super excited to have on the program today Ray Youssef. He is the CEO over at Paxful. Ray, welcome to the show.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it, Lark.
So, can you tell us real quick, just to start off, anybody who's not aware of what Paxful is or what Paxful does, just give us the quick rundown on it.
Paxful is a online wallet, and it's also a universal translator for money that's powered by a peer-to-peer marketplace. So basically, imagine your PayPal wallet, but you don't have to have a bank account to use it. You can top it up with a credit card, with Western Union, with cash, with bank transfer, with anything in the world. Anything anyone will accept value for, you can do that through the power of Bitcoin. So any form of fiat can be converted into Bitcoin, and then Bitcoin can be withdrawn, essentially converted, transformed, translated into any other form of fiat, whether it's a gift card, PayPal, cash, bank transfer, any currency, anything. That's the first time in history that's been possible. So if you think about what that actually is, it's a financial passport, really. Honestly, in a free and open world, the United Nations should have issued everyone on the planet a financial passport. Like, really, that's what they should do. It's a human right. If you can't exchange the value of your work around the world for the value of other people's work, it's almost like being in a cage. You're cut out of the world economy. And that's how so many smaller emerging markets get basically strangled. It's basically economic terrorism. I call it the currency wars. So if you don't listen to, Big Papa with the big stick, whoever Big Papa is, used to be the English Empire, now it's us Americans, right? If you don't listen to us, we will destroy the value of your currency on the open market for a variety of tactics. And then we'll come in with our corporations and start eating up chunks of your infrastructure. And the whole while your currency is being devalued, so your central bank gets hungry to preserve its value of foreign currency so it can buy stuff it needs, like medical supplies or military equipment or stuff. And the people cannot transact outside of the country, destroying their exporting and importing power. It's an absolutely disastrous cycle. And Kleiner Perkins, in his book, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, he talks more about the corporate side of things. But not many people talk about these currency wars and what the effect it has on the people, right? It destroys economies. And that's what's happening in Nigeria, right? It's a great case study for us because it shows the power of Paxful. Like when you give someone a financial passport, like to us in Europe and America, it doesn't seem like we don't see the value of it because we don't need it so much. Our banking system works. We are like the spine of the central of the world economy, right? For people outside of that, it's absolutely a life changer, massive life changer. So there's a lot of examples I can give to explain it, and examples are what it's all about. But essentially, the reason Artur and I and the whole team are doing this is because it didn't start off about money. It started off, hey, can we make a startup that actually like people need for some stuff? And it worked because in the beginning, we were first trying to do a POS for retail so people could accept Bitcoin, but no one had Bitcoin. No one in retail wanted to mess with it.
Of course.
I got kicked out of freaking hot dog stands.
Take Bitcoin, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Only dollars here.
Give away free Bitcoin. People just flat out refused it. This was like 2.5 years ago. They're like, get away from me. I'm trying to give you $100 worth of Bitcoin. You know how much that'd be worth?
Oh my gosh.
$1,000. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so I mean, that didn't work. So we pivoted because it was interesting. A friend of mine came up to me and he was like, Max in New York, and he helps run BitDevs, which is like the leading technical Bitcoin meetup in New York City. And he knew that Artur and I were basically homeless in New York at that point. We spent like all our life savings trying this idea. It didn't work. And
a bunch of Bitcoin in your pocket that nobody will accept.
Exactly. So we were just down and out, man. And he came to us. He was like, hey guys, maybe you should try these PayPal My Cash gift cards, right? And I'm like, what about them? And he's like, well, you can take a $500 PayPal My Cash gift card. The people will give you the code. You can credit it to your PayPal account and spend it with a PayPal debit card. And he said you can get it for $250 worth of Bitcoin. I'm like, what? Why would someone give me a $500 gift card for 250 bucks worth of Bitcoin? He's like, try it and see. I'm like, all right, let me just see. And I tried it. It worked. It worked. And I was like, whoa. We scaled it up to the point where we could pay our rent and we were, not starving anymore. And we actually had some money to like work on our startup. And we were like, man, this is fucking awesome. We should show other people how to do this and make the system better so they can, like this gift card thing is crazy. The margins were so high, right? So yeah, we started off like basically as local Bitcoins, as an escrow service and a listing service, but we focused exclusively on, like, not exclusively, but especially on gift cards. And that was because it was for us, we were more concerned with the entrepreneurs that were going to make money with this and the people that needed to exchange cash for something else, Bitcoin, right? There were small transactions, right? And it worked. And so we built this and people started using it very, very slowly. And then our big break came, right? When Backpage.com lost their Visa and MasterCard merchant account. Some sheriff in Illinois got all holy of them down and started, preaching on. Probably going to run for office soon. Good luck to him.
That's such a good point, though, that people don't understand. Everything that they think is their financial safety can be taken away like that. Your currency can go overnight. Look what happened in Ukraine. Look what happened in Venezuela. Your credit card services that you depend on for your online businesses, gone.
Exactly. And what refuge is there? Where do you turn? It's only Bitcoin and services like Paxful that add this like abstraction layer around it that helps you convert any form of fiat in and out of it. Like this is where people are now going, and the future is very, very bright. I've heard that Coinbase is adding 100,000 new users a day.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, right? But I believe it.
Yeah.
These are people that have bank accounts, and they're mostly from the West, right? Now they don't really need Bitcoin. They're just getting into it to invest and speculate, perhaps. The African people need Bitcoin very badly, especially the Nigerians, people in Zimbabwe, anyone whose currency is really under attack. Why? Because they can move money out of their local currency, which is rapidly depreciating, and into something else that's stable, or in Bitcoin's case, going up 1,000% every year, at least, not bad, right? So that's a hell of a switch right there. But once you, say, moved over your entire life savings to Bitcoin, how do you spend it? How do you buy groceries at the store, right? So there also needs to be a way that people can withdraw, like sell their Bitcoins for cash to their bank account and make a bonus off of it too. And people are doing that. Like there's people in Nigeria that have moved their entire life savings from Naira into Bitcoin, put it on Paxful, and every time they need money at the end of the month to buy food or take care of bills in their local currency, they just sell the Bitcoin, they cash out, they withdraw it as local currency. Boom, they've got everything they need. So there's another use, though, that they're using it for, a third use, and this was very interesting to me because I didn't realize other limitations that they have, which are that even if they have a bank account and they have a bank card like attached to it, like a Visa and MasterCard bank card, debit card stuff, etc., they are limited to 100 USD a month in online purchases. And yeah, 100, yes, 100. Imagine your credit cards are limited to $100 a month.
Oh my God!
How messed up would that be, right? Like you're not buying an iPhone, man, or an Xbox or any damn thing. Get it? So they've got this huge limitation on their importing power, right? So how do they use Bitcoin and Paxful to get around that? And I studied this because I was super curious. Like, what are these folks using the Bitcoin for? Why do they want it so much? Because some of them were taking up to a 50% loss to get Bitcoin with an iTunes gift card. And they were going through these Chinese vendors or selling Nigerians are getting $10 million of iTunes gift card codes a week, selling them to Chinese vendors on Paxful. And I was looking at this and like, what the? Well, that's another story. What are these Chinese doing with these iTunes? I don't know.
What is going on?
But the first thing is like, okay, so these Nigerians it's worth it for them to get Bitcoin, even at these prices. What's the thing? I know the first two things we're using it for, but how is it restoring their importing power? There are two examples, right? One guy loaded up his wallet with almost $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Then he sold the Bitcoin to this dude who added like $1,100 of money to the Nigerian guy's Alipay account. Alipay is like the PayPal of China. Then the Nigerian dude took the $1,100 in Alipay account and bought an iPhone off AliExpress. And he still has some bonus left over. Like, that's pretty freaking cool.
That's pretty cool.
So and one other guy, another interesting example, and this one's even, this one's really interesting. I didn't know that in Nigeria, a lot of the entrepreneurs here would buy cars in America, like a old Range Rover or something, for like $6K, ship it over to Lagos and sell it in Nigeria for 600% profit. 600% profit. So the moment the Nigerian central bank shut down their ability to, wire money out as USD, like to pay for that car in Detroit, they couldn't do that anymore. So how were they going to restore their business of buying these used cars and selling them? What they were using, one guy, he loaded up, I don't know, 6,000, 7,000, something like that, to pay up the Paxful account, his Bitcoin. And then he found this guy and he said, hey, I'll sell you this Bitcoin for wire transfer. He said, okay, who do I wire it to? And he gave him the wiring instructions of the auction house that he bought it from in Detroit. Right, and he told him, yeah, send another one to my friend who will pick it up and ship it. Right, and the guy did it for him, and he got his Bitcoins pretty cheap, right? And this guy managed to actually get his cars again, and that's how he's restoring his business through Paxful and Bitcoin. So he's back in action now. This block was put on his ability to continue his business, and using Bitcoin and like Paxful, boom, he got around it. And that's really, at the end of the day, it helps them get around capital controls, whether they're foreign, domestic, or a combination of both.
That's amazing. This is, like you said, I think a lot of people in the West, we're getting Bitcoin, that's cool, but we don't actually realize the struggles that people go through in other parts of the world. And we see more and more, the war on cash, for example, it's a real thing. In Western Europe, I think now it's in Spain, you're not allowed to make a purchase using more than 3,000 euros cash. If you buy something for 3,200 euros, the cops will come and fine you. Hey, you're breaking the law. You can't spend that much money. That's crazy. So obviously in Africa, the situation's a whole different ball game, really. But you guys have been working on a crypto incubator in Nigeria.
Yes. So
what's the details behind that? Who are you putting in? What are you trying to get out of it? What's the whole idea here?
Okay, so let me start from the very beginning here. So Nigeria has, it's like fighting neck and neck with the United States for our #1 country, #1 market. It's grown so fast. Ghana, it's even smaller country, is now our #3 country. And we're like, what's going on here? Whoa, where did this come from? Then we started our investigation. And after a while, it came to us like, hey, we have to go there. The only way is to go there and see what's going on. And we went there, and we went to the capital city first, Abuja, and we went to a Bitcoin conference, right? Sponsored by this fellow who's the first Bitcoin conference in Nigeria. And now he's working with us, and it was a great conference. We met everyone there, talked to everyone, and we, at the end of the day, my team and I were like, wow, these people are amazing. They are super entrepreneurial, ambitious. There's a tremendous pool of talent in Nigeria, huge unemployment. I mean, the Nigerian people they will find a solution to every problem. Talk about like getting up and hustling, they will do it. And most of them, of course, are honest. That's true. There's just, there's some bad apples. It can be a challenging market, but we were just like, we fell in love. Like, these people are true business people. They are true fintech entrepreneurs. That's what they are. And once we explain this whole concept to them, they're like, once they get it, they get it quickly, very, very quickly, like faster than anyone ever seen. Their eyes light up, they light up, and they're like, okay. And you see them thinking, they figure out the trade routes in their mind, like, okay, I can do this, I can change it here for this, and then I can, and then they do their first trade and it starts getting real for them. And we're like, whoa, there's 180 million of these folks, and they're like this is amazing. The situation is like this, like, oh my God, we have to, #1, we're gonna open up an awesome office. It's not just for us. That's why we call it an incubator. This is a place anyone can come in, like WeWork or whatever, for free, sit down, order some coffee. That's not gonna be free, you buy the coffee, but you sit down, you can work, fast internet, be all these crypto people running around, We want it to be a place for the African entrepreneurs. We know, like everyone says, oh, how can we save Africa? How can we help Africa, right? And first, like our whole perceptions of Africa are really, really messed up. Honestly, whenever the Western media feeds us anything about Africa, it's always two themes: poverty and disease. Poverty and disease. That's all you think about. Then we go over there and we see, oh my God, like holy, hold on a second. This is completely the opposite. This is something remarkable here. So we have no choice. We have to open up an incubator in Africa because number one, everyone's going to go there. I mean, it's going to get.
It's big. It's a massive market, and it's so undervalued right now. It's crazy.
It will literally be like teeming with people within a week. Like that's how we see it. And we're like, hey, there's this demand. We're going to sponsor this, and we're going to give these young entrepreneurs a way they can jump into this new economy. Because the key to empowering Africa is raising up this new crop of young entrepreneurs. They're the ones who are going to pick up everyone else around them, and that's the truth. That's how you do it. Building schools and wells and all that stuff, we're doing that, which is awesome. But what's even more awesome is empowering the people there and showing them how they can start their own business, especially a financial business. That's amazing because everything's just gonna pick up around. Like to us, that's like wow, and we're so honored to be able to play a part in this. We have to do this. We have to. It's gonna be awesome.
That's awesome already. I mean, this is the thing. Give people the power to empower themselves. That's the only way to really solve anything in the world. They know what they need to do. They want to do business. They want to make this happen. They want to, do these transactions. Their government works against them. The international corporations work against them. International governments work against them. But in spite of all those odds, these people, these guys are out there flourishing. They're getting their hands on Bitcoin. They're realizing, hey, this is the way we can get around all this stuff. So that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Now, so Bitcoin in Africa is an amazing story. Obviously, the Zimbabweans are getting on board, and the South Africans are getting on board, the Nigerians are getting on board. There are still some countries in Africa where they're having a lot of problems. I know, for example, in Namibia, it's illegal. I'm sure, obviously, people can get around that. It's the internet. But what do you see as being the next big market in Africa after maybe those kind of 3 big zones that we're looking at the moment?
Well, Ghana shot up to our 3rd biggest market. Ghana. It's a tiny little country. It's puny, right? It's, I don't know, 20, 30 million people, but it shot up to our 3rd. Like, it's not even about the size of the economy. It's about the need. And once education spreads, you can literally have an entire country on board onto Bitcoin. That's what's happening. The African people are not like, they're shy people by nature, but after they figure out what this really means, what this really is, and how it can change their day-to-day lives, they're all in. Because they know what the alternative is. It's just to basically like fade away. No one wants to fade away. These people have a strong will, right? They're gonna go for it. They're gonna try to sustain themselves and their families. And they're Ghana, South Africa is coming up. Like, okay, here's our protocol, right? Whenever we look at a new market, the first thing we figure out, okay, well, is there a need in this market? Like we know about the extreme need in Zimbabwe, Nigeria, etc. Right? So we look at their needs and identify their, want points and need points, right? Then we figure, okay, how can we get them to Bitcoin? Can we raise up the vendors, the sellers in this country that will accept payment in the right way to onboard as many people as possible, and not just tech people or crypto people, like the old grandma or the single mother. Those are the people we need. We want those people. And once we figure out, okay, we've raised the vendors up, the prices are decent, then it's about education. Let's get these people here, show them what this can do, and walk them through the process. And then we just scale that up. We get local customer support. We try to, understand how the people there, the unique cultural points, etc. And then that's it. We basically onboarded an entire country to Bitcoin. So now we're doing this with Nigeria. It's a huge experiment, right? But Nigeria is the #1 economy in Africa. Where Nigeria goes, Africa will follow. So we're successful there. We're going to take this template to every single country in Africa. It's 1.2 billion people. Expected to go up to 2 billion within like 8 or 9 years. Nigeria will be responsible for over half that growth. Wow. Think about that. That's immense. Like that's real adoption. And then we're not even talking about Southeast Asia.
Yeah, or that's it, or anywhere else, right? And now the one country we haven't mentioned here that has a giant population and a big economy is Egypt. What about Egypt? What do you see happening in the Bitcoin space there, or are they still kind of quite far behind?
Well, okay, so disclaimer, I was actually born in Egypt to two Egyptian parents. I'm Egyptian, but I grew up in New York since I was a little boy, but so I'm pretty American in that sense. So I don't really know that much about Egypt. I just came back from there to visit my mother and sister for 2 days, but I'm hardly ever there. I don't really speak the language well, but Egypt is like our, I think, 9th biggest country. So the Egyptians are slowly figuring out. They're also very entrepreneurial people, right? They're not quite as hungry as the Africans, I think. But once the education points are made there, and we find ways, again, apply the template to the country, I think, yeah, it'll be an immense market for Bitcoin. Absolutely. In fact, all of North Africa, I think, will. All of it. It's immense.
Very, very cool. Now, you have been doing some charity work in Rwanda, if I'm correct. Can you tell us a little bit, what have you guys exactly been doing over there?
Okay, so we just funded the operation, but people that actually did it with an organization are with an organization called Zamzam Water. You can find them at zamzamwater.org. And I discovered them as I saw this awesome video on Instagram. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I think it was an orphanage in Afghanistan or something. And it was so touching and emotionally just like sounded like, oh, whoever, I was super impressed by what they were doing. And I was also super impressed by the video and the storytelling in the video. I was like, I got to find out who this guy is who made this guy. And I look, and I was Zamzam Water. I went to their site. And I'm like, wow, these guys seem legit. I called this guy up. This is a young guy grew up in Crenshaw Boulevard in LA. He originally grew up, he was born in Afghanistan, or maybe he was born in America, but he grew up his whole life in LA, and now he lives in Texas. And this guy has got 2 part-time jobs. He keeps 2 part-time jobs that helps him travel, keep a flexible schedule so he can do all this stuff. 100% of what you send this guy goes to the people, 100%. He does not take anything for himself or his administrative costs, and his team is growing. And I was like, wow, that's awesome that you do that. This guy literally is just one of those people, a total hero. His name is Youssef Nassari. Just wants to help me. And I listened to everything he was doing, all his projects, and I said, I got to donate. I just donated personally. So did everyone at Paxful. We all gave personally to this guy. And I was like, this is awesome. And then one day, I saw another post on Instagram, and he's like, oh yeah, we're raising money for a school in Wells in Rwanda. I was like, Rwanda, okay, well that's interesting. And I talked to him about it. Hey man, why don't you tell me about this? He's not the type of guy that asks people for money. He just put it out there. You have to find out about it. And he told me about it. I was like, this project sounds awesome. And it's a nursery, and there's wells, and I didn't understand the situation over there, but this is making like a difference in the lives of over 1,000 people in that area. And it's a day-to-day difference too. Like previously, like one young boy, he made a video, I'll send you a link to it. He had to spend 6 hours a day going to get water from a far off for his family. He couldn't go to school. 6 hours a day. If he didn't bring the water, who was going to do it? His mother was sick, his father was old. That's it. So because this guy can now get water across the street, he could actually go to school now. A single mom with 2 kids was at this nursery now. She can actually work and take care of her children. She didn't have to depend on the abusive situation she was in. Like that's a real difference. Like
it's life-changing.
Of people, like life-changing on an everyday level, man. Every day. I thought about that. And I was like, wow, like we could actually do this, and we confirmed it. We were just there. We were with these people, you know. We've truly, like, in my opinion, we have, and I know, we've changed the world. Maybe not on a huge level, but man, we have changed the world for these people, for these 1,000 people. That's real. Like, that's what I want to do. I want us to, I told Youssef, like, and this was his plan too, let's focus on one place at a time and really bring it up, like all the wells they need, the nursery, and then we can build a primary school, and then like a hospital, and let's like make this the model for every place around us, so they all want to come to this place, right? Let's get them solar power, electricity, let's get them everything you need to build a self-sustaining like civilization here, and let's replicate that. And he's like, yes, that's what we're going to do. We're going to focus on quality, not quantity. We're going to really bring these people up, like change the game for them. And we did it, man. Like,
that's
just
amazing.
Came back. It's actually like you have to come with us next time.
I will. I'm down. I would love to. Sign me up. Let me know where you're going. I'll meet you guys in Rwanda. That'd be out of control. That'd be awesome.
Super safe and super civilized and super clean too. Let me just say that it's cleaner, it's safer than America, and cleaner too than New York. Anyway.
Not surprised.
It's awesome, man. It's the people are so sweet. The food is amazing, and it's just a great place. Like that village we were at. That was actually the place where the genocide started 20 years ago. It was in that village, right? So it has like really poor infrastructure because of that. People hardly all of them, like people. Half the village was gone, right? So, this is something that made us understand that we can actually make a difference now. Like, and these guys accept Bitcoin. They're called Zamzam Water. Like, you can go to their website, email info@zamzamwater.org. Youssef himself checks it. He'll give you his Bitcoin address. You can donate to him directly. And it's funny because the first time I donated to this guy personally, I told him, man, I can send you this Bitcoin, you can cash it out. And he was like, okay, how do I do that? And I was like, oh, okay, well, he has a bank account, right? So I said, oh, okay, open up a Coinbase account. So he opens up a Coinbase account. The CEO of Paxful is telling this guy to open up a Coinbase, but they made it easier for people with a bank account, right? There was no corporate motive here. I was just trying to donate to him. So he opens up a Coinbase account, tell him, give me the Bitcoin address. He finds it on their site, sends it to me finally. And I send the Bitcoin. He's like, okay, I got it. So what happened was for 6 weeks, Coinbase locked his Bitcoin until he verified his non-for-profit. Mm-hmm. His accountant emailed them every day for 6 weeks. No answer. No answer. And they wouldn't let him take the Bitcoin out either. 6 weeks.
The customer service, huh?
I mean, it was, then I was like, oh man, okay. I was like, telling him, like, don't worry, we'll use Paxful. And I basically did a trade on Paxful with one of Paxful vendors, and I told him, hey, here's this Bitcoin. I gave another, Bitcoin again, because the Coinbase was still holding the original. And I told him, just wire it to this account. He did it. Boom, it was done. So it's peer-to-peer, it just happened just like that. And Coinbase finally, a week after that, they gave back the Bitcoins, and he got it again. But man, it was it showed just like what people really need to, like, these non-for-profits need a very simple way just to withdraw their monies, right? Yeah. You don't have to tie up for 6 weeks. And I'm not dissing on Coinbase because they're experiencing some growing pains right now, just like Kraken, us, and everyone else.
Yeah,
right?
Unimaginable. I can't imagine what you guys are going through with the onboarding every day of thousands of people. It's crazy.
It's madness. I mean, our sign-up rate is like went from like 3,000 to 4,000 to like it's happening within a week. We're seeing it spike up like this. But if you think about it, I mean, Coinbase getting 100,000 signups a day. That's from the banked world. We're targeting the unbanked world, which is far more populous. Mm-hmm. So once we simplify the process, like we're still in the process of upgrading the whole platform. We expect a 10x increase in the sign-up rate or more, especially with the app coming out. And we've just been collecting feedback all this time. But the point is, brother, we can make a real difference right now. So this is a massive shout out to all the people in crypto here. Look, we can make a difference right now. 100% of everything that we give is going to go to helping the people, and it's going to actually make a difference in these people's lives on an everyday level. Mm-hmm. And like, this is going to be a model for the rest of Africa around it. That's the beautiful thing. And this is okay. There's two things that stop us from doing it. I believe a lot of people are actually super generous, and humans are super generous by nature. We want to give, but there's two things that hold us back. Number one, we're like, okay, is our money really going to go to helping the people here, or is it just going to buy a bunch of parties and social networking events for these non-for-profits? Come on, man. I don't want, I know you're hanging out with Bill Gates with my money. No, I wanted to feed people, right? Like, not you. You're fat enough, right? And number two, right? They don't know. Okay, you're going to give this money. It's going to help these people, but what difference is it really going to make? That's the other thing. Like, all these people, like, they're just dying anyway. What is it? It's actually going to make a real difference because, look, it's not just feeding a few people or putting a Band-Aid on the situation. You're creating a model for success and prosperity that everyone around can look and emulate. That's real. Besides the fact that we're actually making a difference in the lives of 1,000 people every day. Besides that, we're building a model. So right there, if you're an entrepreneur, like, okay, so we're building some real equity in the process right now, not just putting a Band-Aid on it. Okay, I'm ready, I'm all in.
That's it.
So
Those people are gonna know Bitcoin did this. And that's powerful stuff.
All built with Bitcoin. That's the hashtag, built with Bitcoin. Anyone can join in on this. They're doing these other initiatives now, like this coat drive, winter coat drive in Gaza and Afghanistan and Rwanda for young kids, right? They're going to be building another primary school in the village, and we're sponsoring that as well. So our plan is to sponsor all this ourselves, but the more people that get into it, the faster we can move.
That's awesome. Well, you know, definitely, I think right now, too, for anyone who's listening to this, the markets are absolutely on fire. I know everyone's been making killer gains. Spread a bit of love around. I'm going to put the link down to Zamzam below. I'm also going to put a link to that video we were talking about earlier, so you guys can go and check that out. Donate. You guys know even a few bucks will help massively. If you're going to get a Lamborghini, that's cool. You probably have enough money to give the kids in Africa, you know, a few bucks too. So seriously, guys, I'm going to be donating. The address will be down below. Definitely, guys, you know, look into doing it as well.
Yeah, awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, Ray, I know you're a busy man, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. This has been a lot of fun. Really interesting to get that inside perspective of someone who's in there, in Africa. You know, well, I guess you're in Estonia right now, but you guys are going to Africa. You're doing business in Africa. You understand what the market's like. It's super exciting, and it's awesome to see people giving back. So that's really, really cool.
I think Africa, I know Africa is going to lead the world in mainstream Bitcoin adoption in its real use. In fact, you talk to a lot of people, and like, there was an article on Bloomberg, and it said that most of the people that were accepting Bitcoin in Paris, said most of the people that were buying their stuff were from Africa. The Africans, like all the Africans, are going to have Bitcoin. They're going to use it as a means of payment, wealth transfer, not just speculation and investment. Like for them, it's going to be their de facto wallet. That's the future that's coming. Africa is going to lead this. So
it's it's one of the whole continent's a use case study in how Bitcoin can transform people's lives. So
exactly, and there's going to be a growing cottage industry there of Africans that are running their own business, empowering other people around them. So think about that. That's going to pick up all of Africa. I really feel in my heart, this is the true liberation of Africa. You know, they won't be able to just attack and pick Africa off one at a time now. But you have these people there that can actually interact with the local economy, and they're ambitious, and they're driven, and they're educated. That is powerful. So I think we're looking at, in my opinion, almost like a crypto golden age, but it's not about the crypto itself. It's about what it can do for the actual people of the world.
That's it. That's it. That's amazing. Ray, thank you so much for taking your time. This has been an awesome chat.
Yeah, thank you, Lark. You rock, man. I really appreciate it too.
Cheers, man. Cheers.
Love your smile.